Hello, my name is Matthew, and I'm 45 years old. I lost my mother a year ago to Alzheimer's disease. She was quite a person, I tell ya. She was the heart of every party that took place around her. Even though she was old, she always danced whenever she got the chance. I come from a wealthy family. My father was a cardiologist in one of the biggest hospitals in our city, and my mother used to work as a nurse practitioner at the same hospital. They fell in love and got married. My mother left her job to take care of me. My dad always wanted me to become a surgeon or a physician, but I had different plans. I decided to study law. My father was very upset, but my mother was always the understanding one. She was always standing by my side, ready to help me out when the chips were down. She was a great mother. Even though my mother used to get along with most of the people, she didn't get along with Linda, my wife. This is my second marriage. After the first one failed, I never thought I'd marry anyone again, but then I met Linda. Linda worked for a company and came to our law firm for some legal expertise on a company matter. I was assigned to Linda's case. Linda and I worked on the case together for almost a year. That was the time when we started dating each other and fell in love. We married shortly after. Linda quit her job after marrying me. She never liked her job anyway, and I was okay with that. I had a well-paying job that was enough to take care of both of us. When Linda and I were just dating, I used to take her to meet my mom, and Linda seemed very fond of my mom at the time. But I guess that wasn't entirely true. After Mom's Alzheimer's got worse, I decided to bring her to my house. My mom used to live in my childhood home all by herself. She could not live alone now. Linda was against the decision. She didn't want to share our house with anyone else. But I had to do what I had to do for my mom. I brought her in, and then it all started going down. Linda used to be angry at my mom all the time. Linda used to yell at my mom for forgetting things. Me and Linda had so many fights because of that. Linda was furious that I brought Mom to our house. I still remember this one time. I came back from work and my mother had forgotten to eat her food. And Linda was sitting right there on the couch watching the TV. I went up to Linda. Linda, my mom didn't eat her food? She didn't. The food is on the table, on her plate. It looks like she hasn't even touched the food. Maybe she's not hungry. Linda, you know she has Alzheimer's. She forgets to eat sometimes. Or maybe she's just not hungry. I'm sure she'll eat the food when she gets hungry. Linda, you were supposed to help her eat her food whenever I'm not around. She can't do it all by herself. I'm not responsible for your mom. You brought her in. Linda, she is also your mother-in-law. I think it's also your responsibility to take care of her. Listen, Matt, I told you not to bring her here. She was doing fine in her home. That's my mother right there. I cannot just leave her all by herself. I have to take care of her. I am her son. I would have done the same thing for your mother too. Your mother is also my mother now. And the same goes for my family too. Matt, I don't want to have this conversation right now. Please, just let me watch TV. So that's how it's gonna be. You know what? Enough of all this. You get your mom out of our house as soon as possible, or I'll divorce you. What? I'll divorce you if you don't send your mother back to her home. Are you serious right now? What is wrong with you? You divorced me for taking care of my mother. Just send her somewhere else where they take care of old people or something. Her son is still alive. She has her family. What good is a family if they cannot provide for each other when times are tough? I don't know about any of this. Just get her out or we're done. My heart sank when I heard Linda saying all of this. I thought I had married someone with a kind heart who loved me and my family, but it turns out people are not always what they seem to be. I didn't want a divorce again, but I definitely could not leave my mom all by herself. So I decided to confront Linda. I looked her right in the eyes and told her if she wanted to leave, she could, but my mom was not going anywhere. And I meant it. Now, I know that she had no obligations to take care of my mother just because she is my wife. But didn't we exchange vows on our wedding day to help each other out, support each other, and be by each other's side when the times are tough? I needed her now more than ever. And I would have left my job to take care of Mom if Linda had a job that was enough to pay all our bills, but she didn't. If I could work and take care of my mother at the same time, I would have never asked Linda to do it. But aren't we supposed to be a team? I mean, a husband and a wife should help each other out when they need each other. As I confronted Linda, she realized that I wasn't joking around. I was serious. Turns out, she was just bluffing. She agreed to help me take care of Mom, even though I could clearly see in her face that she didn't want to. A couple of weeks went by and everything was fine. Linda helped me take care of Mom. But then something happened that left me completely stunned, from head to toe. I came home one day and saw that the door was locked from the outside. I was confused. I thought, is Linda and Mom not home or something? I took out my keys and opened the door. I went around the house and there I saw my mom, lying on the porch, shivering. I went up to her to check if she was okay. She seemed disoriented and had no idea what was happening around her. I helped her get up, but she was too weak. She could not even sit up. I got some water from the kitchen and helped her drink it. She had one sip and started coughing. I picked her up, took her to the car, and drove her to the nearest hospital I could find. I carried her to the hospital and the staff brought out a stretcher and took her to the emergency room. I was so scared. I thought I would lose my mother that day. After like an hour or so, the doctor came out of the emergency room and told me that she was okay. Are you with her? Yes, doctor, I'm her son, Matthew. How is she? She's okay, don't worry. Thank goodness. What happened to her? She was dehydrated, and her sugar levels were extremely low. I guess she's not drinking enough water, and you also need to make a diet plan for her. It happens at this age. Old people don't feel like eating anything or drinking enough water. She has Alzheimer's disease. Oh, that explains a lot. You know, you have to take good care of her. She will forget to eat her food or even drink water for days. I understand, doctor. This could lead to a case of negligence if things go this way. You could land into trouble, son. I understand, doctor. Me and my wife are trying our best to take care of her. I can understand. It's hard to take care of someone sick and also work to pay the bills. I'd suggest you hire a nurse. I know it would be expensive, but it could help you take care of your mom. I'll look into it, doctor. Okay, son. Just make sure she eats well, drinks plenty of water, rests well, and takes her medicines on time. Alzheimer's disease can cause dehydration and malnutrition. These complications are not good for her. I will, doctor, thank you. One more thing, Matthew. Try spending as much time with her as possible. Try to make her happy. Focus on things that she can do and appreciate her for. If she finishes her meal all by herself without any help, appreciate that. It could help boost her self-esteem and prevent her from getting into depression. Just try to make sure she's having a good time. That's it. I understand, doctor. Thank you for everything. Hearing the doctor say these things broke my heart. It was important to take care of her, but it was also important to keep her happy, and lately, I had been failing in both. I wasn't being a good son, and she definitely deserved better than this. I was so depressed thinking about all this that I forgot about Linda. Suddenly, I see a message pop up on my phone. It was Linda's text saying, "Where was I?" The house door was open and there was nobody inside. It made me furious. Not even a call. She was texting me after leaving my mother all alone in the house. I called her. "Linda, where are you?" "I just got home. Where are you? And why is the house door open? Did you come here?" "Where's Mom, Linda?" "She's not here. Maybe she opened the door and went out." "The door was locked from the outside." "Linda, how could she have gotten out?" "How did you know the door was locked from the outside?" "Because I came home after work only to find that you've locked my mother inside our house. When I got there, she was on the porch, shivering, and barely conscious." "Where is she now?" "I took her to the hospital. We're still at the hospital." "I'm sorry, Matthew." "Sorry? You're sorry? This could have led to her death. How could you leave Mom all alone in the house?" "Calm down, Matthew. I just went out to have a cup of coffee with my friends. It was supposed to be quick, but we found traffic in our way." "Are you kidding me? You just went to have coffee with your friends, leaving Mom all alone." Chill out, Matt. I was pretty sure that your mom could take care of herself for a few hours. Linda, the doctor told me she was dehydrated, and her sugar level was extremely low. She had not been eating properly or even drinking enough water for days now. It's not just a few hours. When I used to put the food on the table for her, and she could always drink the water from the kitchen. What is wrong with you, Linda? She has Alzheimer's. She forgets to eat, to drink, and everything. Hey, don't yell at me. You should be the one taking care of your mom, not me. You know what? I think you're right. Expecting that you would take care of your sick mother-in-law was a mistake. I'll take care of her myself. I said this and I cut the call right in her face. Once the doctor told me she was ready to go home, I took her home. I called my boss and told him that I needed leave for at least a week so that I could take care of my mother and find her a good nurse. My boss agreed, but also he told me that he could only give me leave for 1 week. There was still a lot of work pending. I took the week off to take care of my mother. I called several hospitals and nursing homes to hire one of the nurses to take care of my mother at home, but I could not find any. One day out of nowhere, my ex-wife Ann shows up at my door. I was shocked to see her. I hadn't seen her in a very long time. I invited her in. Hey Matt, how are you? It has been such a long time. Yeah, too long. I'm good. How are you, Ann? I'm doing good. It's good to see you again. Is Mary here? Yes, she's here. She's sleeping in the next room, but how did you know she was here? I went to her house to check up on her a couple of times, but the neighbors told me that you took her to your home. I tried to stop myself, but I couldn't, I just wanted to check up on her. You used to visit my mother? I did. I used to visit her at least 4 to 5 times a month. But since you took her to your house, I haven't seen her. I just came here to meet her. I hope that's okay with you. Yeah, don't worry. It's not a problem. You can come here and visit her anytime. Can I see her? Yeah, sure, come. I'll take you to her room. Oh, Lord. She doesn't look good, does she? It has been rough, I haven't had the time to take care of her. I have a job, and Linda, my wife, is not much help. Oh, almost forgot. Where's Linda? How is she? She's gone out with some of her friends. She's all right, Listen, Matthew, if you want, I could take her to my home and take care of her. I have my pension plan intact, so I don't have to work anymore. Oh, no, that would be too much, Ann. No, I would be more than happy to take her to my home. Even though we're not together, I still love her. Your mom and I were like the best of friends, don't you remember? How she and I used to double team on you to win arguments? Yeah, I remember. You guys were a team. Exactly. Let me take her to my home and take care of her. I would love to be around her. But we'll also need a nurse. I'm trying to find one, but it's of no use. Hey, you leave that one on me. Your mom and I used to visit the hospital, where your mom used to work as a nurse to meet her friends. I am sure they would give us a nurse to take care for your mother. After all, your mother worked there for more than a decade. Are you sure? Yeah, don't worry. Just help me take her to my home. You can come anytime to visit her. You focus on your job. I'll take good care of her. And I'll also help you pay her medical bills. We're going to work this out together. For Mary. Thanks, Ann. You're a savior. I was a little hesitant at first to send my mom to my ex-wife's house, but deep down, I knew that I would not be able to do it all alone. I needed some help. And Linda was not exactly the one I wanted to leave my mother with. And I knew Ann and the bond she shared with my mom. We had our differences in our marriage, but Ann was a great daughter-in-law. Both my mom and dad liked her. She and my mom were like best friends. My mom used to take Ann everywhere she went, to meet her friends, to the spa, to the salon, everywhere. My mom was the saddest when we told her that we were getting a divorce. And I knew for a fact that Mom would definitely be more happy around Ann than Linda. And Ann loved my mom, so she would take good care of her, and she was also arranging a nurse. The following week, I dropped my mom at Ann's place. Ann had already prepared everything for her. She had prepared a room for her, arranged a nurse, and made a diet plan for her. She had already bought the medicines and everything. I was happy to see that Mom would finally be in good hands, and I could go to work to take care of the financial needs for her treatment. I dropped my mom off at Ann's and came back to my house. Linda had gone for her regular coffee outings with her friends. I didn't tell her anything about shifting my mom to Ann's place because, first, she didn't care, and second, I didn't feel like telling her anything about my mom. She came home shortly after. She looked around the house and came up to me. "Where is that old hag?" "She is my mother, Linda, and she's at my ex-wife's house." "What?" "She's with Anne." "Yes." "When will she be back?" "She'll not be back for a very long time. Anne is taking good care of her." "When did this happen?" "Unlike you, Anne cares about my mother, even though we're not together anymore. She got her a nurse and she is by her side all day. She's also helping me financially to pay Mom's medical bills." "What? You've been in touch with your ex-wife and you didn't tell me." "You should be happy. You're no longer involved in any conversation that is about Mom. You're free now. Go out with your friends whenever you want." "You know what? That is completely fine by me. I'm glad that your ex-wife came here and took that old hag with her." "For the last time, Linda, she is my mother. Don't you ever call her an old hag from now on." "Yeah, whatever. I'm just happy that I don't have to see her face every day now." "Oh, trust me, you're not the only person who's happy after this. Mom will be the happiest when she sees Anne's face every day instead of yours." We had a massive fight that day. We didn't talk to each other for over a week. We even slept in different rooms. I couldn't bear her presence around me. On the other hand, I used to visit Mom at Anne's place every day after work. I could see she was feeling better. I could see her health improved as the days went by. Anne and the nurse were taking good care of her, and most importantly, she was happier at Anne's place. I used to see her smile whenever she saw Anne by her side. She really loved Anne. Just when everything was starting to get better, 3 months later, it happened. Mom passed away in her sleep. It was a nightmare. I was in my house when I got a call from Anne, telling me that Mom wasn't waking up. She was breathing, but she was unconscious. She had called the ambulance and they were on their way. The moment I heard this, I woke up, got my car keys, and left the house for Anne's place. I didn't even tell Linda, I just left the house. But unfortunately, it was too late. I reached there and the ambulance was already there. The paramedics checked up on Mom and told me that she had passed away. She passed away while I was on my way. I broke down, I couldn't handle myself. I felt like I had lost everything. I was crying like a baby when Anne came up to me. She hugged me and told me that Mom went away peacefully. There was no struggle, no pain. She just exhaled a deep breath, and that was it. She told me that she is in a much better place now. She's not suffering anymore. Her words were comforting. Her words were comforting. Her words felt like they pierced through the dark clouds of sadness that had surrounded me, isolating me from the real world. I hugged her back and she told me I was a good son, and my mom was proud of me. I cried even more. We had the funeral and a lot of people came. Unlike Linda, people were fond of the kind of person Mom was. Everyone came to console me and Linda. Linda didn't seem affected by Mom's death at all. I was just talking to everyone when a man came up to me. He told me he was my father's lawyer. He told me before my father died, he had transferred the ownership of his house, his vintage car, his luxury watch collection, and his other properties to Mom. And my mom had explicitly mentioned in the will that the ownership of their house was in Anne's name, and the rest of the property was for me. I was not surprised to hear that at all. My mom loved Anne, and deep down, I knew she deserved more than just the house. She took care of Mom when I couldn't. She was the daughter that they needed but never had. They had me instead, who couldn't take care of her when she needed me the most. I called Anne and told her about everything. She was shocked to hear that. She told me she could not take the house. It belonged to me. It was a pretty big house. It was worth a fortune. I told her that my mom wanted this, and I think we should respect it. Anne tried to convince me to take the house. She even told me to have a co-ownership of the house with her, but I didn't agree. My mom wanted to give it to Anne, and I had no problem with that. Eventually, she agreed to take the house. I told Linda everything about it, and she was shocked to hear this. My mom had given the house to Anne, my ex-wife. That house was worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, and Anne had it now. Linda seemed like she had seen a ghost. Her eyes and mouth are wide open, and I dropped another bomb on her. I told her I wanted a divorce. I had made up my mind to not be with Linda after Mom passed away. I told her that I was filing for a divorce and she could fight me in court if she wanted to. She couldn't believe it. Mom gave the house to Anne, and to top it off, I wanted a divorce. I told her that I was not okay being with someone who couldn't even help me take care of the ones that I loved. I told her it's over. It's been a year since Mom passed away. Our divorce procedure is still pending in court and will be finalized within the next 6 months, hopefully. Linda has come up to me several times to tell me how sorry she is and how she regrets everything she did. But it doesn't matter to me now. Those are just empty words for me. Her family lives in a different city, so she has nowhere to go. She's living in a small rented apartment somewhere and working somewhere to make ends meet. She has nowhere to go, just like my mom had nowhere to go when Linda told me to evict her from the house. She could have had everything if she was a good daughter-in-law, but her lack of emotions got the worst of her. I never want her back in my life. She can now take care of herself with all the time she has in the world, just like she wanted. On the other hand, Anne was the knight in shining armor for both me and Mom. She saved the day. She sold her house and lives in my parents' house now. She has enough money to take care of herself for the rest of her life, and she deserves everything she has. She loved my mom, and Mom loved her. I'm glad that Mom could spend the last of her time with Anne.